I was listening to the story about, it was a story of a family in Washington, and the little boy called the Bigfoot the Cowboy Man. And he had, apparently it had made an effort to steal this kid. And it hit me. My children were in that playpen behind me with nothing but a mosquito net over them. It could have crept up behind me and taken both of my children, and I wouldn't have known.
Father just got like a Mustang or something from Wyoming, okay? He had it out in the corral because he couldn't put it in the barn in the stalls with the other horses because it would kick and made all the other horses nervous. Had a Seminole Indian working the horse trying to break it every day. So they had it out in the corral. This skunk ape snuck up behind this horse and grabbed it on its hind quarters. This particular horse kicks out, jumps over the corral, runs into the pasture, to get away. At this point, the rancher's out there just blasted away with the 30-30. Skunk ape runs into the swamp.
I went up there one day after that, or 2 days after that. I went up there and sat in the silence up there, and I'm telling you, man, it was free. It was crazy. There was a crazy vibe up there still. I did what I could to kind of get things under control, but I told her, I said, you need to get off this property. I feel like no matter how strong you are, it's almost like standing in the ocean. You can't stand still without moving your feet. You're going to get knocked over eventually, no matter how strong, whatever. You can't withstand a barrage of weird spiritual energy.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Paranormal Odyssey. Wanted to bring you guys another little short story. Been doing these lately. I've done a couple of them for you already. Wanted to bring another one to you. Again, this is one that I wasn't familiar with. Takes place in West Virginia. I don't live in West Virginia. I've never been there. It kind of explains why I'm not that familiar with it. But yeah, we're going to be talking about the Flatwoods monster. I'm going to go ahead and jump into it here in just a second. Let me pull this up quick. Guys, if you don't mind, hit that subscribe button. I would appreciate it. The Flatwoods monster, also known as Braxton County monster, Braxy, or the Phantom of Flatwoods in West Virginia folklore, is an entity reported to have been sighted in the town of Flatwoods in Braxton County, West Virginia, United States on September 12, 1952, after a bright object crossed the night sky. Over 50 years later, some investigators have stated that they believe the light was a meteor and that the creature was a barn owl perched on a tree with shadows making it appear to be a large humanoid. At 7:15 p.m. on September 12, 1952, two brothers, Edward and Fred May, and their friend Tommy Hire, said that they saw a bright object cross the sky and land on the property of local farmer G. Bailey Fisher. The boys went to the home of Kathleen May, where they told their story. May, accompanied by the three boys, local children Neil Nunley and Ronnie Shaver, and West Virginia National Guardsman Eugene Lemon, went to the Fisher farm in an effort to locate whatever it was that the boys had said they had seen. The group reached the top of the hill where Nunley said they saw a pulsing red light. Lemon said he aimed flashlight in that direction and momentarily saw a tall, man-like figure with a round, red face surrounded by a pointed, hood-like shape. Descriptions varied in an article for Descriptions varied. In an article for Fate magazine based on his tape-recorded interviews, UFO writer Gray Barker described the figure as approximately 10 feet tall with a round, blood-red face, a large pointed, hood-like shape around the face, eye-like shapes which emitted greenish-orange light, and a dark black or green body. May described the figure as having small claw-like hands, clothing like folds, and a head that resembled the ace of spades. According to the story, when the figure made a hissing sound and glided toward the group, Lemon screamed and dropped his flashlight, causing the group to run away. The group said they had smelled a pungent mist, and some later said they were nauseated. The local sheriff and a deputy had been investigating reports of a crashed aircraft in the area. They searched the site of the reported monster, but saw, heard, and smelled nothing. According to Barker's account, the next day, A. Lee Stewart, Jr. of the Braxton Democrat claimed to have discovered skid marks in the field and an odd gummy deposit, which were subsequently attributed by UFO enthusiast groups as evidence of a saucer landing. According to former news editor Holt Bryan, newspaper stories were carried throughout the country, radio broadcasts were carried on large networks, and hundreds of phone calls were received from all parts of the country. The National Press Services rated the story number 11 of the year. A minister from Brooklyn came to question the May family. A Pittsburgh paper sent a special reporter. UFO and 14 writers like Gray Barker and Ivan T. Sanderson arrived to investigate. After investigating the case in 2000, Joe Nickel of the Committee for Skeptical Inquiry concluded that the bright light in the sky reported by the witnesses on September 12th most likely a meteor, that the pulsating red light was likely an aircraft, navigation, or hazard beacon, and that the creature described by witnesses closely resembled an owl. Nichols suggested that witnesses' perceptions were distorted by their heightened state of anxiety. It's understandable. Nichols' conclusions are shared by a number of other investigators, including those of the Air Force. Out of September 12th sighting, a meteor had been observed across 3 states, Maryland, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia. According to Nickel, 3 flashing red aircraft beacons were also visible from the area of the sightings, which could account for descriptions of the pulsating red light and red tint on the face of the supposed monster. Nickel concluded that the shape, movement, and sounds reported by witnesses were also consistent with the silhouette, flight pattern, and call of a startled barn owl perched on a tree limb, leading researchers to conclude that foliage beneath the owl may have created the illusion of the lower portions of the creature, described as being a pleated green skirt. Researchers also concluded that the witnesses' inability to agree on whether the creature had arms, combined with May's report of it having small claw-like hands which extended in front of it, also matched the description of a barn owl with its talons gripping a tree branch. According to skeptic Ryan Haupt, even though local boy Max Lockard admitted he had driven around the site hoping to see something in his Chevy truck, paranormal investigators concluded that the tracks, oily residue, and bits of rubbery substance must have been left by the creature and not the truck. Haupt explains nausea reported by some of the witnesses as a symptom consistent with hysteria and overexertion. Officials in Flatwood erected a welcome sign which designated the town as home of the Green Monster. The town also commemorates the legend in its annual Flatwoods Days Festival. Located in the town of Sutton, the Braxton County seat, is the Flatwoods Monsters Museum, which is dedicated to the legend. The Braxton County Convention and Visitors Bureau also built a series of 5 tall chairs in the shape of the monster to serve as landmarks and visitor attractions. The Bureau rewards visitors who photograph all 5 chairs with free Braxy stickers. In 2013, West Virginian rock singer Argyle Goolsby released a song called The Being, which referenced the Flatwoods Monster. The legend of the Flatwoods Monster has also inspired media beyond West Virginia. The video games Fallout 76 and Everybody's Golf 4 each contain references to the legend. The creature was the subject of a 2018 documentary, The Flatwoods Monster, A Legacy of Fear, produced by Small Town Monsters, an indie production company documenting unusual events throughout America in television. The second episode of the 2019 History Channel series Project Blue Book, titled The Flatwoods Monster, is based on the Flatwoods incident. All right, guys, there you go. A relatively short one for you guys, but interesting nonetheless. Again, I didn't know anything about this legend. It's really interesting. Sometimes you might scoff and laugh when you think, how could someone misidentify an owl for a large monster? When your emotions are high and you're already frightened and there's more than one person there and you're feeding off of each other's emotions, I believe mistakes can be made. I think it happens quite regularly. It could be the real thing. I don't know. If you guys, anybody has an opinion on it, would love to hear it. Shoot me an email. Right there, you can get me at Wayne at paranormalworldproductions.com. Yeah, just shoot me an email. Let me know what you think about these, what you think about the Flatwoods Monsters, any of the other ones that I've covered. Also, would love some recommendations on stuff that you want me to cover in the future. Any topics. There's all kind of stuff that I've never heard of, and I'm sure a lot of you haven't heard of either. And it's a good way to learn. Everybody share what they know and get it to me, and I'll put it out there for others. All right, want to remind everybody about Paranormal Odyssey, the podcast. You can find 2 new episodes every week, Wednesday and Sunday releases. Every Friday night at 7:30, you can find me right here, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. You can find me right here on YouTube for Paranormal Odyssey Live. And yeah, that's about it. I want to ask everybody to head over to paranormalworldproductions.com. Show some support for this show, Sasquatch Odyssey, as well as True Crime Odyssey. We would appreciate the help, guys. All right, that's enough of all that. I'm going to get out of here. Hope you guys enjoyed. And be good to each other. Be good to yourselves. See you guys.